Watch out.
Recently, we've seen another case where fans felt they had the right to decide the career and personal choices of a K-pop artist. This time, it was Seunghan from the newly debuted group Rise. But this isn't just a Seunghan problem, it's part of a much bigger issue in K-pop. So, why do K-pop companies keep fueling the fantasies of these obsessive fans? And at what cost to the idols themselves? Let's start with what happened to Seunghan. Last year, SM Entertainment introduced the new boy group Rise. Originally, Rise had 7 members, including Seunghan. Even before their official debut, all photos of Seunghan were leaked. In these pictures, he's seen kissing his girlfriend, and in another, he's smoking a cigarette. These images sparked a huge backlash. The controversy was so intense that Seunghan had to issue a public apology, and even this wasn't enough to curb the outrage. In response, SM decided to put him on hiatus indefinitely. Despite the difficult situation, many fans held on to hope that Seunghan will return to the group. After all, he was only on hiatus. And finally, after more than a year, they were thrilled to hear that he will rejoin Rise. For some, it was a victory, a sign of support for Seunghan. However, others, the obsessive fans, who were angry from the start, became even angrier. To them, SM's decision showed that they had no power over the fate of idols. They felt they lost control, and so the hostility only escalated. In a disturbing turn, these fans sent dozens of funeral wreaths to SM's building as if Seunghan had passed away. This wasn't just a display of disapproval, but a chilling next-level death threat. Just 2 days later, SM announced Seunghan's permanent departure from the group. Now Rise will continue with only 6 members. In the end, they had won. This isn't an isolated case. Over the years, we've seen similar patterns of fans becoming overly invested in the personal lives of idols, to the point of feeling entitled to control them. This entitlement often grows when fans believe that company decisions will always cater to their demands, giving them a sense of power of an idol's career and choices. But when these fans see this control slipping, their reactions can quickly escalate, sometimes with alarming consequences. K-pop wouldn't be what it is today without its fans. The intense fan culture drives chart rankings, album sales, and worldwide success. In a sense, the fan culture is what makes K-pop unique. But as much as fan passion fuels K-pop, it can also cast a dark shadow. Some fans cross boundaries, feeling entitlement to control the very idols they support. This sense of ownership can grow dangerously intense. Before we dive deeper, let's consider what the term idol really means. In K-pop, idol doesn't just refer to a performer. It implies someone who embodies cultural and moral ideals. For me, coming from a Christian background, this term is especially complex. In religious contexts, an idol can represent something that distracts our worship away from God. But in K-pop, it seems to convey a symbol of inspiration. These idols are seen as human, yet are held to standards of perfection that go beyond mere talent. They are expected to uplift and serve as flawless role models, making their image as important as their music. This expectation creates an environment where idols are pressured to be perfect, and when they inevitably show their human side, the backlash can be harsh. It's an impossible standard and a burden that takes its toll on even the strongest performers. So, how do we get here? A lot of this stems from the way K-pop companies have structured their relationship with fans. Companies carefully craft idol persona that play directly into fan fantasies. creating an illusion of perfection and closeness, of being available to fans in a way that feels the feeling of ownership. In the system, fans begin to feel not only like supporters, but also like possible partners. Fan service is one of the clearest ways companies reinforce this illusion. Through curated social media posts, live streams, and even personal fan meetings, idols are encouraged to maintain the fantasy of closeness. Fans need to believe they are available for them. They interact just enough to seem accessible, yet distant enough to remain aspirational. But the impact of this fantasy runs deep, pushing the boundaries between admiration and ownership. Even though it is well known how harmful these types of parasocial relationships are, especially to idols, why companies keep on feeding fantasies? Well, there's a significant financial incentive for companies to keep this cycle going. It is well known and studied that when fans feel intensely connected, they're more likely to invest heavily on albums, merchandise, concert tickets, and even virtual fan events. Companies know this and use this deep engagement to maintain a constant revenue stream. But to keep fans spending, idols must embody the idealized image fans crave, even if it pushes them to maintain an unrealistic level of perfection. This reliance on fans' dedication drives the industry's success. But what happens when idols make even the smallest misstep? For some fans, this feels like a betrayal, creating a cycle where an idol's career can be put on the line for choices that are completely normal outside of this hyper-intense bubble. But we need to talk about another reason, the cultural context. In Korea, public image is crucial and idols are held to a clean standard. One idol action can have an impact on the whole group, also reflecting on the whole company image and by extension on the whole industry. When K-pop started to be a thing in Korea, a lot of parents and the older generation as a whole were very skeptical to say the least. They feared that this new fresh artist will have a negative influence on their kids. So K-pop companies crafted a perfect persona for the idols so that they won't be anxious and let the children listen to K-pop. In Korea, idols are public figures, and any deviation from this idealized persona can be viewed as a failure to uphold their role in society. Now, they fear that if they don't cater to this image, the backlash could hurt not only the idol but the entire group. And so the cycle continues, often at the expense of the idols themselves. This system often takes a serious toll on the mental health of idols. The intense pressure from fan expectations often becomes overwhelming, with many idols feeling they must live up to impossible standards, even in their private lives. They are frequently pushed to apologize publicly for personal choices that wouldn't even be considered controversial in other contexts. For idols, it's a difficult choice, either conform to an idealized image or face backlash that could threaten their careers. Many end up making apologies for aspects of their personal lives, not necessarily because they want to, but to appease a more obsessive segment of their fan base. It's a reality that highlights just how intense and sometimes unforgiving the industry can be for those at its center. What do you think? How can we, as fans, reshape the way we engage with idols to build a healthier fandom culture? And what actions can we take to discourage companies from keeping these harmful expectations? Let's all start a conversation about how we can make K-pop a better place for the idols and fans alike. Thank you for watching. This was my very first YouTube video ever. If you enjoyed this video and want to dive deeper into K-pop, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for updates. Until next time.